Twin flame energy, twin flame energy, twin flame energy, twin flame energy.
All right, welcome back to Twin Flame Energy Podcast. I am your host, AJ.
And I'm Dom. And we are live on Twitch.
Yes, we
and
are.
I'm so incredibly sleepy. This is podcast
Somebody's
number 19.
Mm-hmm.
The title of today's podcast is Truth. Do we trust each other? Mm-hmm. Sorry.
Really? I feel you.
I just need a moment.
And I'm like, and it's funny, I'm getting my voice back. My voice is like kind of cracky.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like coming back. So it's like kind of raspy right now.
Yeah. I'm just trying to open my mouth.
Oh, well, no. Mm-mm.
Okay. So, well, this will bring me joy. I'm going to switch it up a little bit today, the programming, and we're actually going to start where we normally end. I think that's normally the part that brings me the most joy anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, we're going to get right into the book of the month. Take it away, AJ.
Well, this month book is Married Roommates, How to Go from a Relationship That Survives to a Marriage That Thrives by Talia Wagner. And this week we are discussing chapter 7, which is called Sexual Intimacy. I messed up that.
You can't.
Anyways, moving away from sexlessness. So let's dive on in.
You need more light? You're having some issues?
No. I'm good.
Okay.
Do you?
No, I'm good.
I think that was your way of telling me you need light.
No. I would like this light to... Then I was actually good. I can see.
Gotcha. Yeah, it is on white, so.
Yep, it's perfect.
All right.
I'll be able to see the color of the cards properly and everything.
Actually, this is kind of cool. I got it setting up right here.
Okay.
All right.
Good stuff. All right, so got some stories.
Dun, 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 dun.
We're going to first chat with Mona and Derek
What they talking about?
about their dead bedroom.
It's not
dead.
dead.
Typical. Derek's pissed again
Mm-hmm.
because I refuse to have sex tonight.
Well.
As she lay there pretending to sleep, Mona felt bad. It hasn't been that long that she was the only one who initiated it. Derek was gorgeous, but he had let himself go. They never seemed to dress up anymore or even go out to anything as basic as dinner. She would have settled for entertaining friends, gathering at their house, any reason to be on. Derek never seemed to care about setting up things with their friends, which annoyed her, but not as much as his lack of effort with her. When she had tried to be sexy, he seemed aloof and uninterested. Eventually, she didn't want to try anymore. She stopped noticing him and stopped caring. She focused on herself and the task at hand. They worked as good partners, but that was it. Derek sighed loudly for emphasis. He knew something was up when Mona fell asleep so quickly. For so long, Mona had criticized what she would call his deficit in romantic instinct. She said he never tried to have sex. She questioned aspects of his masculinity just to come up with rationalizations to justify their lack of. Derek would readily admit that he wasn't the best lover. It wasn't that he didn't like it, but he got into his head, still feeling like the fat kid he was in high school. He knew it had been months. By tying events together, like birthdays, anniversaries, a vacation, or a night at a hotel. He didn't know what blocked him in between these times. He meant to plan more date nights and have their friends over, but exhaustion from work usually had him beat. It never felt intentional, but unfortunately, Mona didn't see that. Now that his new routine of exercise and clean living were paying off, he felt good, and even his sex drive had reappeared. Yet when he finally got his groove back, she was the one who was disinterested. While she never came out and said it, she evaded him and his attempts on a regular basis.
Da-da-da. That's all.
Oh, Mona and Derek.
Right. Disagreeing is normal. The great sexual decline. A couple's broken connection usually inflicts its greatest damage on their sexual intimacy. Sex, passion, excitement, and even attraction greatly decrease when two people are not getting along. When you don't see eye to eye and feel disconnected, you unfortunately do not want to be intimate. Conflict through fighting, escalation, and crossing the line can further solidify that feeling. The last thing you feel like doing when you are angry and disheartened is to be affectionate toward your mate. This easily creates a cascading effect, further downgrading your attention, and other attraction, attention, and interest in one another. So, Jimmy and Aurora. Okay, what about tonight? So, right, my theme music. So, Jimmy glanced over at Aurora, sitting on the couch watching TV. While she didn't look very sexy with her Snoopy sweet sweats and glasses, he felt that it had been a long time since he asked her for sex. So he figured he would try again. Wanna have sex? He said playfully. Aurora looked over at him as if considering it and said no yet again. She knew she knew that it would hurt him to hear that, but she had no physical desire toward him. Their relationship felt platonic. Her physical attraction toward him started waning as he lost his hair and gained more than 20 extra pounds around his gut. He knew that he had to get her interested again. She thought, as she put it out of her mind and refocused on the show that they were watching, although Jimmy was crushed by her rejection, he didn't let on. But a few minutes later, he got up and went to bed. He didn't sleep well that night, his thoughts circling around and around. He couldn't get past the deep rejection he felt. It affected his confidence and mood. It also made him extremely resentful that in order to sleep with his wife, he needed to hit the gym daily and get hair plugs. It was embarrassing to him and was such a turnoff that he vowed not to try with Aurora again. Fuck her. What?
Why fuck her? Because he ugly. Moving right along. Where did the attraction go? Attraction for one another is an important part of interest and sexuality. Mm-hmm. Through the course...
What?
You made me laugh. Mm-hmm.
No,
that was just funny.
Well, it's just the way my voice sounds right now, too. It's funny.
No, you're my amen corner. That's why I was laughing.
Right.
Through the course of the sometimes decade-long marriage, there will be times when physicality and attraction will be at an all-time high. There will also be downturns and times of low and lacking sexual fulfillment. At the beginning of a relationship, you both usually devote some time and energy to your appearance. You style your hair, shave your legs, invest in new cologne, dress up solely for each other. You do it for your mate to find you more desirable and attractive. Over time, these practices can fade. While it is good to be able to just be yourself around your partner, the pendulum shouldn't swing solely in one direction. Physical desirability is an important part of maintaining attraction. When you cease putting in the effort to look your best, like wearing sweats with holes and your favorite worn out t-shirt from college, you're saying that you don't really care anymore. Again, there's nothing wrong with that if it is balanced out with some attempt to look your best. Unfortunately, married roommates have stopped balancing these things out. The aging process will see you and your partner's bodies go through normal changes, where parts will droop and sag, weight will be gained, and you will naturally let yourself go a bit. This should not stop you from caring about your appearance or trying for your mate, but it often does. All right, so we're going to talk about Pete and Diana and the fact that you've changed and not for the better.
Dun, dun, dun.
Alrighty. Are we ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Pete and Diana. Here we go. Pete has always been fit. He wasn't necessarily an athlete, but he ate well and enjoyed keeping himself healthy. It wasn't for vanity, although he would be lying if he didn't admit that there was some truth to the accusations Diana would make. He liked nice things, especially stylish clothes, designer sunglasses, and even expensive haircuts. When he met Diana at the conference in Vegas, she had a rock-hard body and enjoyed the same upscale tastes. Because of these similarities, she had captivated him in ways that most women never had. But then, she was so confident and sure of herself, but something shifted for her after motherhood. Physically, things spun out of control as working out and staying fit became less and less of a priority. Even worse, she lost her sense of self, seeming unsure of herself to the point where she let her friends direct her opinions. She often put herself in a victim position in the relationship, saying things like, "I would gladly put on the weight all over again for my adorable babies." It drove him crazy. Her new neediness wasn't attractive. It made him lose interest, seemingly seeing her as a mother of his children than an attractive, desirable partner. Diana always had been described as a go-getter by the people she knew. She had a fantastic resume, was well-traveled and well-informed. She never had a problem in the guys department. She always dated the hottest guys in her hometown. During those years, her confidence was unshakable. She could go after anything she deemed worthy and would actually succeed in her pursuits. Diana was attractive, had a slender physique, and rarely gained any weight. She ate well, liked dancing, hiking, and going for long walks. Her new neediness wasn't attractive. It made him lose interest, seeing her as more of the mother of his children than an attractive, desirable partner. Why do I feel like this is going over? Hold on.
Oh, the word? I think it's because of the blue.
I think I did it wrong. Okay, a marriage initially did not change much in her daily life, but pregnancy did. Physically, she felt horrible, and when her clothes stopped fitting, she spiraled into a low-grade depression. At least that was what her therapist told her. Her confidence seemed to fade with every pound she gained. Instead of doing something about it, she consoled herself with food. She knew Pete was disgusted with her, as he wouldn't even touch her anymore.
Ugh, that's not good at all.
I'm sorry, Diana.
Yeah. So, facilitating sexlessness. There will be a time in your life when you face personal struggles outside of the relationship. These can definitely impact the sexual intimacy with your partner. Despite lack of attention, although it takes commitment, there are countless ways you can present the best version of yourself for your partner. Addressing dieting, unhealthy habits, depression, erectile dysfunction, or addiction can go a long way toward putting two people in the best position to reconnect. Failing to address these individually can affect your marriage. While at first your partner could be understanding and empathetic, failing to move the needle over time will not allow them to stay in a compassionate place. As people grow older, get less sleep, and shoulder more professional responsibility than ever before, exhaustion and personal self-care play a bigger and bigger role, and the lack of intimacy. Couples resign themselves into this exhaustion once their duties have been fulfilled, preferring to get some downtime than to get sexual. This in turn facilitates their journey into married roommates. By allowing for premature death to the sex life, romantic relationships must be sexual. Otherwise, they are by definition platonic. It is part of the job of being a husband and wife. Without it, in time you find yourself in the marriage with little physical affection.
So, Doug and Gina, say no to sex and yes to porn. Doug couldn't help looking at the stairs, worried about Gina coming down and catching him in the act. Masturbating. I had to say it like that. His mind rebelled against his fear. It's her fault that I have to act like a sexually starved teenager and resort to sneaking around to watch porn. If she had sex with him like a normal wife, thoughts of having sex with other women wouldn't be consuming his waking hours. Every time he reached for her or made a suggestive comment, she would shrug him off, always saying she was too tired or had too rough of a day at work. She had a million exhaustion-related excuses for why they couldn't be intimate. It embarrassed him, made him feel rejected and undesired. He knew Gina's view on porn. She considered it to be cheating. He didn't see it that way. He specifically watched porn because he did not want to cheat on his wife. He loved her despite their problems, but his sexual need was causing him to lose sight of it. Although Doug brought it to her attention all of the time, Gina wasn't concerned about sex. If she was honest with herself, she really didn't feel a desire or arousal regularly, so it was easy to put it out of her mind. She knew it drove Doug crazy, but the fact that he was so horny all the time was his problem. She was sure he had a problem. Maybe he was a sex addict, which made it even more absurd when he asked her to talk to her doctor after seeing an ad for a shot that increases female libido. But why should she do that when he refused to help her? For years, she begged him to bring her receipts from all the expenses on the small business they ran together. He wouldn't, leaving her in the painful task of trying to organize them in their company finances without any support of the receipts. That just makes so much sense, you know? No receipts.
So, marital obligations.
Who?
Marital.
I know we just watched the Super Bowl and all.
Mathers. All right. Marital obligations, his and hers. Married roommates can have duty sex. They fulfill their marital obligations to one another, but it's more of a transactional act, missing the sparks and intimacy. There's often no passion, no foreplay, no cuddles. It happens, then it's over. Once you become roommates, intimacy sometimes feel like another forced obligation to be crossed off the list. Nothing sexy, spontaneous, or passionate about it. So that's what that means. So, Iana and Seth, nothing new here. As she dropped the kids off at her parents' house for the weekly date night, Iana wished that she could forego the whole event. She knew they needed to spend more quality time together, but these evenings were so predictable, and if she dared think about it, boring. In attempts to work on their flailing relationship, Seth suggests that they implement a weekly date night, which was a good idea. Unfortunately, they always went to the same restaurant, then the movies, then back home to have sex. Seth didn't seem to have a lot of different techniques in the bedroom. He never invested in foreplay to get her into it. Instead, it was missionary position, wham bam, and then let's get ready to go pick up the kids. There was usually no orgasm in it for her. Sometimes she felt so dissatisfied that she wanted to scream. She never shared these feelings with Seth, knowing that it would hurt him terribly. At least he tried. So Iana just sat there, turning her nose up and critiquing all his suggestions on how to improve their dead bedroom. He loved her, but she had a negative, sour attitude that made her unattractive. It was crazy because even though they were now having sex regularly, he couldn't climax the last 2 times. Her stiff body and disengagement made him feel like he was doing a corpse. She thought she could just lie there and let him get it on with it, expecting him to just go to town and not understanding how much of a turnoff her lack of participation created. He was ready to scrap the whole date night thing. He was sick of going through the motions.
Men and women are different. What we see most often in therapy is that women need intimacy from their partners to have a healthy sex life. And conversely, men need a healthy sex life to feel intimacy and the connection towards their mate. This is where the difference in gender approaches intimacy and sex can often create an unfortunate cycle that literally pulls us further and further away from each other. Infidelity and other dangers of sexless roommates. As pointed out earlier, the lack of sex leads to a breakdown in intimacy, an emotional connection, leaving you susceptible to outside influences more than ever before. When you feel underappreciated and devalued your significant other, it is easy for support to be found elsewhere, even if you aren't looking for it. Believe it or not, sex acts as a facilitator for even more sex, having a use it or lose it kind of quality. So make sex important. Take ownership and responsibility for your happiness together. Make your love life a priority. And yeah, I guess that's basically it. While it may be a bit awkward to re-engage sexually after a long hiatus, this weirdness does not last for long. It takes consideration that deals with some uncomfortable moments and a small price to pay in the long run to get your relationship back on track. You can even greatly reduce the awkwardness by breaking the ice through humor, by being silly and being playful with each other. So that's just kind of a sample of what Chapter 7 has to offer. It's definitely worth taking the time to dig deeper when your time permits. And of course, next week we will be discussing Chapter 8, which is entitled Putting It All Together. This is the first chapter of Part 3, which is called Out with the Old and In with the New Normal. So if you're following along with us, of course, we will be reviewing 1 chapter a week. Give us time to digest, reflect on all the information we receive, and kind of put it into practice.
Yes, yes, yes. So we're going to enjoy this quick music break, and we will be back in a moment.
It's hard to know what I wasn't told. It explodes, unfolds, and I don't know what to do to repose. It's amazing how deep I could go. I'm just breathing in and out the flow. I've seen from taking time to know. Yes, I need more time to explore. The doors are closed. Now time to go. Breathe in what flows. Breathe out what's on. Oxygenate my veins. My veins, my veins, my veins. Oxygenate my veins. Oxygenate my veins. Oxygenate my veins. Oxygenate my veins. Oh, it may be done 'cause you thought it was what's best. You see, now I have to do what's best for me. Every time that you don't believe what's been laid out for you to see, don't dismiss all the subtleties. There are we have left. Show me no. The doors are closed. Now time to go. Breathe in what flows. Breathe out what's on. Oxygenate my veins. Oxygenate my veins. No, no. Oxygenate my veins. And let me breathe in. No. Oxygenate my veins. Oxygenate my veins. Let me breathe. Oxygenate my veins. No. Oxygenate, oxygenate, oxygenate my veins. Oxygenate, oxygenate, oxygenate my veins. Oxygenate, oxygenate, oxygenate my veins. Oxygenate, oxygenate my veins. It's been a long, long road. Inside I'm learning to go. Whenever I don't know. It's been a long, long road. Inside I'm learning to go. Whenever I don't know.
All right, we are back from the break. That song is entitled Oxygenate My Veins, and that song is about the power of breath work. Simple as that. It's so simple, but yet extremely important.
Right, when you listen to you don't think that that's what it's talking about, but just listen to the words. It's deep.
So, of course, that's available wherever you stream your music.
Everywhere.
Well, since we have been doing things a little differently today, we actually only have one article to take out today. So we've got an article to revert to today as we veer back to the topic, which of course is trust. This article is coming from leadwithtrust.com, and it's entitled 5 Stages of Distrust, How It Destroys Your Relationship. Distrust doesn't happen overnight. It develops progressively through stages, and if we can recognize these stages when we're in them, we have a chance of addressing the situation before distrust takes root. So, number 1, doubt. The first stage of distrust begins with doubt. You start to experience a slight uncertainty about someone's trustworthiness that causes you to pause just a bit. It might be that nagging doubt in the back of your mind that you can't seem to dismiss, or something you just doesn't feel right about the situation, even though you can't put your finger on it exactly.
Number 2 is suspicion. Doubt, if unresolved, grows into suspicion over time. Suspicion is belief without proof. You've started to see a pattern of behavior that may indicate a lack of trust, but you don't quite have enough proof to make it a firm conclusion. Your trust radar is telling you that something is wrong.
Number 3, anxiety. The third stage of distrust is anxiety, a feeling of apprehension or uneasiness that is often manifested physically. When dealing with someone who you don't quite trust, you may experience nervousness, a rapid heartbeat, anger, and knots in your stomach, or even disgust.
Fear. At this point in a relationship, distrust has risen to the point where you are afraid to show vulnerability. You have experienced repeated breaches of trust and have grown to distrust another person to the point you are afraid for your emotional well-being.
And number 5, self-protection. As a result of the fear you've experienced, you move into a state of self-protection. You put up walls in your relationship to prevent other persons from getting too close to you. This act of self-preservation reduces your vulnerability and also cements the state of distrust in the relationship.
Yep. Trust is the cord that holds two people together in a relationship. And when it's severed, disconnection occurs. When you can no longer be vulnerable with the other person, you begin to experience different things in your relationship. Like author Dr. John Townsend describes several common experiences of damaged trust in his book, Beyond Boundaries. Learning to trust again in the relationships. Here are some of the symptoms. Withdrawal. Instead of acting carefree, which is normal in a trusting relationship, you become more reserved and sharing personal information. You quit taking risk in the relationship because the safety net has been removed. Loneliness or feeling dead or frozen inside is common.
Movement to task. To compensate for the lack of trust in the relationship, you may overinvest yourself in tasks related to hobbies, work, school, church, or other activities. You stay active in other parts of your life because you find it easier to do than to connect. You shut down the personal part of your relationship with the other person.
Unbalanced giver relationships. Townsend points out that it's common for a person to be the giver in relationships, and to avoid receiving. Being the giver allows you to remain safe from being vulnerable with another person. You will listen, help, and guide others, but withhold letting others help you. Being the giver also manifests itself in codependent relationships.
Bad habits. Trust issues can often lead to problematic behavioral patterns in your life. It's easy to suppress your emotional feelings, by overeating, drinking too much, and other addictive behaviors.
Dun, dun, dun. So, it is that time. And we're going to pick a card. Any card.
But I'm taking over.
Okay.
Hold on.
Okay.
I'm changing the script. So.
Is that supposed to be a record?
Something like that.
Gotcha.
Yes, listen.
We're going to work on those sounds.
We do what we can when we're half asleep. So, obviously, we're picking from the Best Self deck.
Mm-hmm.
It is the Intimacy deck.
Mm-hmm.
The categories are about you, intimacy, relationships, past life, and random. But of course, because this is the most uncomfortable episode we've ever recorded, and I'm ready for it to be over.
Is it really?
Yep.
Oh.
We're only going to be pulling from the intimacy side.
Okay.
Since we didn't pull any last week from this deck.
Yeah, those were, yeah.
So, I'm going to shuffle. We're going to pull a few cards, not just one.
Am I going to pull a card?
We'll both pull cards.
Because you always pull.
We'll pull 3 apiece.
Three?
Yeah.
Oh.
So, I'm going to hold them out
Okay.
to you, and you can pull 3 randoms. Here we go.
Really? Randoms?
Mm-hmm. Just pull 3.
Wait. You're not shuffling right. I don't know.
Pulled a large-ass deck, dude.
No, I got 3.
That's not 3.
It's actually 4.
It's more like 14. I
No,
felt
it's-
them leave my hand.
It's just 4.
Okay, hand one back. And don't look at them first.
Hmm.
Just hand one back.
I did.
Oh,
It was just 1.
okay. Hold on. I have to pick my 3. Randomly. Oh no. Are they stuck together? No, that's 1. That's 2. What? And that's 3.
Mine
And
is
after
kind of
this,
funny.
I'm going to bed. Actual bed, as in sleeping.
Mine is kind of funny.
Okay, you want to go first?
You don't want me to go first.
Okay. You got 3 cards.
Okay. Well, let me just go right on in. So, what is your favorite sexual memory of us? I could see like your back tense up as soon as I said- It's like you're not even moving or breathing. We will sit in silence.
In the beginning. Next.
Okay.
Look, I said something. I think that's growth. God damn it.
Well, we'll see. What's my card?
Aren't you supposed to respond?
No, I picked one. Now you pick one.
Oh, so you don't have to answer your own questions?
And I didn't think so. I thought it was like the other way around.
Oh, cool. That sounds good.
No, well, I'll answer.
Nope.
No.
My turn.
I can
Intimacy
answer.
card. What do you wish we did more in our sex life?
Probably just try to find more times to actually do it. That's
What's more
simple.
than none? I'm just
Just, you know.
I had to laugh. Your turn. To read.
I don't even know if I want to read this one. What do I do that turns you on the most? Nothing. No,
Sing. I just wish I could see it actually happen. Sing. Whatever. What is your favorite time of the day to be intimate?
You know what? I guess it shifts, but sometimes it's the morning. Weirdly enough.
Well, I work 40 hours a week, so there we go.
And yeah, it's like weird, but like the morning, yeah, like during the day, it's weird. What was the hardest decision you've ever had to make? That's not really intimacy.
That's in the intimacy? Is that a red card?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
The hardest decision I've ever had to make?
Right, that's so not like an intimacy card. I guess you're supposed to veer it intimately, but it's kind of hard to do that.
That's fine. Pulling these cards.
Seriously?
Yep.
Something else.
The way that I make decisions and the way that I can create a story in my mind in order to back up those decisions, I don't really ever feel like I have to make those kinds of decisions.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay.
I have one more.
Why can't I get one of those?
If we wanted to do something sexually that isn't what we normally do, what might we do? I'll let you read it because it doesn't make that much sense to me.
What? You might want to pull out a card. This is kind of weird. Yeah.
So pull something else?
I guess so. It's
a weird question.
Isn't. I mean, I'm like trying to.
Here's one.
What?
How has your childhood upbringing shaped sexuality?
What? Not for me. I'll answer the first one.
No, it said upbringing.
I don't think it has. I mean, I don't think that's even.
It really is a dumbass question.
Yeah,
actually.
I don't think that's up. Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying again. Which relationship did you learn most about sex?
Which relationship? I will say ours. Yep, okay. I will say ours.
Okay.
Yep. Because there was, actual love involved and more passion involved and, actual intimacy. So I feel like that was like the first time. So I think people may not be virgins per se, but they probably are virgins to actual intimacy with someone you truly love.
How cute.
She just mess up. Just the whole. Just come on.
Here's a question: how many times
we were done.
do you want to be intimate each week?
Each week?
Now I'm just pulling randomly.
Well, we're done though. We're done pulling.
I just felt like it. I asked the damn question and I answered the question.
I would say, I don't know, minimally?
It didn't. The word minimum was not on the card.
It said how many times total?
This isn't an idealistic card.
It says total. What does it say? Say it again.
There's no total.
No,
there is no min. It says how many times would you want weekly?
I would say at least 3 to 5 times.
Get the fuck out of here.
It's like, nah. More like a half. get a half. It's just a kind of sorta.
What you really need?
No. Listen, let me ask you.
Here's a very good question
for you.
No. What you really need to understand about me and sex is. Finish this sentence.
Wait, what? Wait, say it again.
What you really need to understand about me
you
and sex is. No, you're answering the question.
Oh, I'm answering
about yourself.
Oh, okay. is
We can both answer this question as the last question.
No, it's fine. I can
'Cause I'll answer it, too.
I just have to read it. Let me read it myself.
Okay.
Because it's hard to think about it when you say it like that. All right. Okay. What you really need to understand about me and sex is I think we like more of the same things than you realize. That's my something I feel that you don't understand.
Okay.
I think. Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna go on
So
to
you don't
the,
want me to answer the question?
No, I just thought that was it.
I said we would both answer it as the last one.
Oh.
What you really need to understand about me is I'm very bored very easily. That's all.
Mm-hmm. As I drum roll.
No, and I feel like some people are like very like.
I know that actually.
No, I'm more quality over quantity.
Yeah.
If it's, I don't feel like everything is always like, you get what I'm saying? Like,
but most people are
if
always
it's not going to be
about an orgasm. You're more of just about the experience.
Yes and no. No, that's not.
I mean, no. I mean, no. Of course, it's about that. But I'm saying that, you know, you want every bit of it to be more of a quality versus it being. I get what you're saying though, and I do know that about you. Yeah. As she fights with paper.
So, that does it for this extremely awkward episode.
It is
of the
not.
podcast.
It is not.
Yes, it is, because I will never be truthful about any of this stuff.
Don't say that.
So, we'll be back next week with more lies. I'm just.
That's not good.
If we're not talking
She's
about this, we'll
actually
be telling
lying
the
about
truth.
that. So,
Not lying.
about that.
What do you mean?
Meaning, you're telling the truth. You're just
No,
not.
I'm not.
You're just not telling everything.
I'm not telling the truth.
Oh.
But we'll be back next week.
Okay.
With more amazing content and actual truths about other things that matter. All the articles used to drive this discussion forward can be found in the description box, as well as links to books on married roommates, how to go from relationship that just survives to a marriage that thrives by Talia Wagner. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's podcast. Me personally, I don't think my opinions would not be popular, so that's why I keep them to myself. Not everybody needs to hear those.
There may be few that share that you don't know about, even if it's 1%.
Like what?
I don't know. I'm saying even if it's 1% of the population that, you know, you're part of that 1%, and it's just a few of y'all, you know, they may relate.
Okay.
I feel like there's a lot of stuff that I feel that, you know, not a lot of people will agree with or.
Like what? What do you feel? Like give one good nugget before we sign off.
About intimacy? Mm-hmm. Oh, I wasn't really talking about that.
That's what it was about.
We about to end. You was almost at ignite your energy. We about to ignite this thing.
No, literally, that's what we're talking about. So if you don't have a nugget,
no. I mean, I mean, what I'm saying is like, you know, I would agree with you on what you said. Your answer is that, you know, the quality over, you know, and I maybe there's a lot of people, there's a lot of men who probably don't feel that way.
I will have one transparent moment, and I will lay this shit to rest, okay? Because
no,
it's very uncomfortable.
You don't have to.
Nope,
it's
I
just
will. I believe that when two people come together in an intimate fashion, there's an energy exchange,
Right.
and there's a lot of creative energy.
Right.
If it's not going to be with all your heart and soul, and like to be really creative in the moment, and it's just to get off, I believe in taking a long shower. I don't believe in wasting your time trying to be that. You get what I'm saying? So my thing about it is, if people need these little 5-minute moments to just like have a blip, then go do that by yourself in the shower. But I believe when two people come together, it should be about more.
Well, yeah, that defeats the
That's
purpose.
just me.
That defeats the purpose of actual intimacy.
Yes, I don't
Yeah.
feel like I
And
feel like when it's just that, it's a waste
You're
of
more
everybody's
of a
time.
all intimate or none kind of person.
Yes,
Gotcha.
the end.
And that's that. And like I said, there's some people who feel like there's times where I was like, okay, they need a little whatever, and then there's some people who feel exactly the same way you do.
Yes.
You know. So, we will see y'all next week. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And of course,
Ignite some damn energy.
we didn't get our note.
That's my note.
Okay. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Twin flame energy, twin flame energy, twin flame energy.